There are many opportunities out there to make some great money in digital assets, but there's also some risk. And in my opinion, there's too many people losing money. And so I want to tell you how I've been making 3% to 10% a week in some of these projects, and I've had a very high success rate. I've been over 23 projects, and I've had issues with just 2 or 3 of them. And so today I want to talk a little bit about why many people lose money in this space, and I'll talk about why most YouTube influencers do not care if you lose money. Okay, it's a little harsh, but that's the truth, and I'll explain why in a minute. And then third, I'll explain what are your best options going forward. So first of all, let's talk about why so many people lose money in this space. Obviously, the number one answer is the projects are risky. See, people put money into these projects hoping for a big gain before the project collapses. It's like buying a lottery ticket, and people start dreaming of the payoff. And that becomes the problem. These projects combine a high reward with high emotion. Okay, you start dreaming about what could be, what might be, all that sort of stuff, and kind of fantasizing about what your life could be like a year down the road if something compounds and builds and builds and builds, but it doesn't happen. But you're so caught up in the emotional side of it, it's too late. Okay, and so again, they combine the high risk and the potential for high returns with that high emotion. And again, think about it. If you could make 50% returns every 3 weeks, you could be a millionaire in a year. Well, that sounds great, and you start dreaming about that, but that's when you start making irrational decisions. Okay, so these high rewards, they have high risks. And the biggest reason most people lose money is that they kind of start making decisions that are just not rational. They're based on emotion instead of logic. The worst part about that is that most YouTube influencers don't care if you make money or lose money. And like I said earlier, that sounds kind of harsh, but it's true, and I'll explain why. Think about this from 3 different reasons, or 3 different standpoints of how they make money. First of all, if they have at least 1,000 followers on YouTube, then they get money just by creating a video. YouTube has formulas where they're paying them to bring traffic to YouTube. And so if they've got 2, 3, 5, 10, 20,000 followers, they're making a lot of money just by putting a video out. And so just the more videos they put out, the more people come and watch them, the more money they make. Doesn't matter whether you invest or not, they're already making money by creating the videos. Number 2, several of them get paid for what's called sponsored videos. In other words, someone who comes out with one of these new platforms will go to one of the YouTube influencers and say, hey, I'm going to pay you X dollars to create a video and just send it out. It doesn't have to be a good project. The person doesn't have to invest in it, but they're just getting paid to promote it. Now, I do know of at least one YouTube influencer who at least has the integrity to say, hey, this is a sponsored video. I'm getting paid to do this. I think this is a crappy project, but I promise I'd share it. And so at least he's being honest. Others, they get paid to do that, and they do sponsored videos, and they don't tell you that. You think it's something that they recommend, but it's a lot of times it's not, but you wouldn't know the difference. And so they get paid just to create sponsored videos on some of these projects. The third way they get paid is by their downline. A lot of these are multi-level marketing structures, and so obviously the more people that invest, the more money they make. And to give you an example, there was a project that I looked at about 2 months ago. When I first saw the website and how it was laid out, what they did, I was just super excited. I was like, oh, this is going to be a fantastic project. This is going to be one of my 2 or 3 favorites of all of them that I have. But then I did my due diligence and found out that there were several things in there that just didn't add up. They misled some things. They lied about some things. A couple of people that they said were the managers of the company didn't even exist. And so I said, nope, not moving forward with that one. But I know of some people that really went heavy into that project. And one in particular I know of, on the first day, he was super excited. He put $10,000 into it, did a video of him putting $10,000 in. And people go, oh man, this guy must really be confident about this project if he's going to put $10,000 into it on day one. And thousands of people saw that video and they jumped right in with him. Did he lose that $10,000? Yes, he did. The project lasted about 42 days. But I also know that during that 42-day period, he averaged $5,000 a day of commissions. All those people in his downline that were buying it left and right because he showed it, he made over $200,000 in that 7 or 6 weeks. And yes, he may have lost that. Well, he did lose that $10,000 that he invested because the company disappeared. But he made over $200,000 in commissions. And so it's just important that you understand a lot of these YouTubers, a lot of them do not have your best interest in mind. They're going to make money from just having a lot of followers. Again, YouTube pays them. They get paid affiliate fees for promoting some of these projects. And then they just make a lot of money on their downline and the people under them. And so a lot of them, it's not that they're making money in the digital assets, it's that they're making money from their followers and their downline. So just keep that in mind as you see new opportunities pop up. Just kind of look through it with that lens, with that filter to evaluate, does this project really make sense? To do your own due diligence. So with all that said, my mission is to help investors achieve financial independence. And losing money when a project rugs is not a fit with that mission. And there are great projects out there that most YouTubers are not sharing. Why? Because they pay little or no commission, because they're not MLM, and therefore most of the influencers avoid them. There's just not enough money to be made, even though they may be much, and they are much better projects than most of what the influencers are showing. So these are the types of projects that I'm in. And first of all, I would never offer a project that I wouldn't invest in, and that I wouldn't have my 18-year-old daughter invest in. She's in a few of these projects. And again, I'm not going to have her invest in something that I think is going to be gone in the near future. Just not worth it. And also, I will offer the best projects that I can find, regardless of what they pay me. That's not the important part. I'll make something, hopefully get enough from referrals, repeat business that it'll offset. But it's not about making the giant commission, but I want to make sure that I'm helping people. That is my mission. That's how I stick with the mission of helping people achieve financial freedom. So imagine being in projects that have been around for years, projects that provide full transparency of every trade that is made, projects that are audited by independent third parties, and even some projects that cannot be a rug. I'll explain that in another video soon, but there are projects that cannot rug, they cannot disappear. And I'll explain how later, but that's the type of projects that you should be in. So click on the next video on the due diligence that we perform and learn more about that process, and then start to learn more about some of these other opportunities that are low risk. Learn about the opportunities that nobody else is talking about.